Welcome back, fellow yarn whisperers. My name is Fallon and I am the whisperer of this channel. If you're not already and you'd like to, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, ring the notification bell, and you can be notified every time I whisper something new to my channel. Before I begin today's tutorial, I wanted to share with you, if you watched my last video, you know that I made myself a necklace from that yarn. I decided to add a little bit more to it. I made a bracelet to go with it, and I made myself even a pair of chunky funky earrings. Aren't those cool? There was enough in that little cake of yarn for me to do all of that. So, and speaking of these chunky funky earrings, that is what we're going to be going over today. I'm going to show you how to do curlicues, or you could use these for tails on a stuffed animal, or you can use them like I did and make a piece of jewelry. You can hang them off of a bag, you could hang them off a hat, you could use them as a tassel of some kind. Now, it doesn't matter what size yarn you're using, it doesn't matter what size hook you're using, as long as you're consistent. And I'm going to show you some different ways to do this. I will be using a 5.5mm hook today. I'm using some worsted weight milk cotton yarn that I got off of Wish. If you've not seen that video, that is also on my channel. You'll need scissors and a darning needle if you intend to snip off and keep this as a project that you're finished making. So, to begin, I'm going to show you how to make a curlicue with single crochets. You'll want to put a slip knot on your hook, and I am going to chain up 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now you can make your chain as long or as short as you like for it to be, but the shorter that it is, the shorter the curlicue will be. The longer it is, the longer the curlicue will be. We're going to start out by working into the second chain from the hook. Let me get that real good and close. Not this one, but this one. And in that chain, we're going to work 3 single crochets. Moving on to the next one, we won't skip anything, we won't chain anything. We're going to put 3 single crochets into this next stitch also. And we're going to do that with every stitch across. You can already see it curling up on itself, but I'm going to go ahead and finish this. That way you guys can see a finished product. And so I have 2 more chains to work into. Now, pull that out so that you can see it curls up on itself. Looks like a little pigtail. And this is a very short, tight one because we used single crochet, and so the width doesn't get very big, and I only chained out 8, so it's definitely short in that direction too. Also, it's a tight curlicue because I chose to put 3 single crochets in it when I could have just done 2. Now you could also make it super tight and add 4 single crochets into that. I'm going to show you the difference if I were to just do 2 stitches per chain, and instead of single crochets this time I'm going to do double crochets. So I'm going to chain 8 again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Actually, I'll do 9 because I want to skip these 2 and work into this one. And I'm going to go ahead and still, even though I've got that chain 2, and that's a personal preference, that's what you prefer to do, but I'm going to go ahead and put 3 double crochets into this. No, oh no, I'm doing 2. That's what I remember now. We're slowing it down some. So we're doing 2 double crochets in every chain along. And this will make it a little longer. The length of the curly Q itself will stay a little bit longer because it won't be tightened up as much because there's one less stitch in the chain. So I have 2 chains left to work into on this one. Here's the last one. Pull this out a little bit so that we can take a better look at it. And you'll see it doesn't even look like it fully curled. I think if I'd worked it a little longer it would have, but you can see how much more of a ringlet that it makes. The reason that this works this way is because if you tried to just work a chain and then you turned and you worked across the chain, you're going to get a flat, flush piece of work. When you go to adding chains or stitches, extra stitches into each of these chains, then you change the anatomy of your project. And I think it's important to, I like to write my own patterns. I like to play around with different stitches and see what I can come up with. And I think that that's important to pattern writing, is to understand, to put that knowledge into perspective and to see that, you know, if I know that if I put 2 stitches in here, it could create a wave depending on what I'm going for. If I put 3 stitches in here, they're all going to be crammed up into this one spot, and so it's really going to make a wave. And if I put 4 in there, holy moly, it's going to look like a wad of stitches. So let's do a single crochet bit with 4 in it just to see. And I will chain 8 again. Not the first stitch, but the second stitch from the hook. I'll do 4 single crochets. You could go crazy and put 5 single crochets in each of these. It's really a versatile thing, and like I was saying earlier at the beginning of the video, you can use these for all sorts of projects. You can attach them to animals. You could use it as hair on a stuffed doll if you made plenty of them. You could make a keychain with it. How many have I done in that one? 1, 2, 3, 4. You could use them as tassels if you wanted to draw back curtains. You could hang them off of a bag. That kind of goes along with a keychain thing. You could hang them off the top of a hat. You do all sorts of things with this. I have 2 stitches left, and we're going to see how tight of a curly Q that this turned out to be. Does anybody else call them curly Qs? Do you have a specific name if you've made these before, that you call them. I just think they look like curly cues. My grandmother, when I was little, and still today, honestly, I have curly hair. It's really heavy, and so it just looks like a wavy mess of witch hair most of the time. But the little flyaways that are around my face, look how tight of a curly cue that is. Little flyaways that stay around my face, they curl up whenever I get hot. And she would say to me, there was once a little girl who had a little curl right in the middle of her forehead, and when she was good, she was very, very good, but when she was bad, she was horrid. Have you ever heard that? Well, anyway, I hope that this was helpful to you. I hope you learned how to make a curly cue with me today, and I hope you use it for a project. If you don't care, give me a thumbs up. You can leave a comment on the video and visit me on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Fallon Has Yarn, and show me a picture of your curly cue. I would love to see what's on your hook today. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next episode of The Yarn Whisperer. Bye!